Since it's October 22nd, everybody knows Halloween is around the corner. In fact, it's next Wednesday. But if I was to talk about this next Monday, you might have already gone down the wrong path of believing that you are treating yourself when you're tricking yourself around Halloween candy. So if you're like most households in North America, you go to the grocery store, you're seeing the walls. It's like, you know, a 15-foot high display in some stores, or shelves and shelves of candy, treats, little chocolate bars, and you're bringing them home for the sake of handing out Halloween candy next Wednesday. Except if you're like lots of people, that Halloween candy, the box or the bag gets opened, you know, today or whenever you brought it home, and before you know it, you actually have to go back to the store to get more candy because you and or your family has eaten it all. So yeah, so we're going to be talking about sugar today. We're going to be talking about sugar, weight gain, and the lies that we tell ourselves to do the things that we want to do under the guise of indulgence. So I chose something really simple to bring, to buy, little caramels, and possibly because, you know, you look at this and you think, oh, okay, well, it's no big deal, right? Like, they're just like a little square. They're little tiny little squares. Like, how hard can this be? And this is what's so crazy about Halloween candy is they're small, they're cute, and it's really easy to think, this can't be so bad. So knowing what I know, doing what I do, I, of course, you know, there's tons. There's like 70 candies in here, probably. I don't even know if it says, doesn't really matter. But I go to the back and I look for what the serving size is. So the serving size, or the portion that we're meant to consume, is 5 pieces. So 5 pieces, right? 5 little caramels. So even still, if I was to like unwrap and eat those all, I would still probably have the belief or the thinking of, oh, well, this can't be that bad for me, can it? So I look at the label a little bit more and I pay attention to what it says. So first of all, in these 5 little pieces, there's 170 calories, 170 calories, in there. And what's crazy, 21 grams of sugar. 21 grams of sugar. So that's what this looks like. There's literally 5 teaspoons in here. So for how this works is 1 teaspoon of sugar has 4 grams. 5 times 4 equals 20 grams. So that's what you are eating when you have just those few little caramels, okay? That's a lot. That's a lot of white sugar. And that's just coming through these little treats that seem not very, you know, damaging. And what's even crazier is that, like, that's just from a treat. What we know about our diet right now in North America is most of us are getting it's about this, 40 grams of sugar in a day. This is average consumption. So that's added sugar into things. So that's 10 teaspoons. The recommendation for women, write this down if you're trying to figure out how to, you know, see some weight go or decrease sugar cravings and sugar habits. That's 10 teaspoons. That's like this, you guys. Can you imagine just like pouring yourself a bowl of sugar and like mixing some water into it and just downing it? Like, I don't think so. And yet we're eating it, and we're eating it in ways that we don't even realize. So if you want to start to see it, like, the reason I think that's so crazy is, you know, we do all this stuff leading up to Halloween, and during the week of Halloween, we're like, oh, we check the scale and it doesn't really show much. So we think that we've gotten away with it. But probably like you've experienced around the holidays or celebrations, birthdays, you know, weight gain doesn't happen just like this. What you're going to find is that weight comes on in November. All of a sudden your jeans are tight, you're 5 pounds up. Why? Directly related to your sugar consumption. So, you know, I find it amazing. It's not that long ago that I could have seriously sat on the couch with the bowl of candy, and I would have sorted the things that I didn't like, and I would have had the things that I did. And I could eat 10 chocolate bars, okay? So like, for sure, without a doubt. I mean, they're little. And the problem with sugar is it jacks up this part of your brain. We know that it lights up so quickly. We've done, you know, people have done tons of research on this with magnetic resonance imaging. And you're getting that dopamine, serotonin hit. And what happens for so many women is, how are you feeling at night, right? Like really, after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, how are you feeling? chances are you're probably feeling a little tired. Maybe you're just coming down off of a stressful day. Maybe you're like finally the kids are asleep and you've got that like you time, that quiet time. Maybe you're lonely. God, maybe you're bored. So eating becomes a very go-to thing for so many women, right? Eating and slash, red wine or white wine. I know that red wine and chocolate was a lovely combination. In fact, it was the thing that, really got in my way when I was carrying extra weight. It in fact created most of my extra weight. So how do you cut back? Like, how do you not let this happen? And Connie, welcome. Hi. You say you stay away from that stuff. Okay, good for you. You just saw that your favorite that I used to eat, they were better in the 70s Kraft caramels. Yeah, so caramels were huge. They're huge. And like caramel apples, caramel brownies, there's so much that's done with these things. And again, what's the misconception is, oh, it can't be that much. So what's also crazy, and I want to take this beyond just Halloween candy to like everyday stuff that could be in your home, to say something like a flavored yogurt, whether it's fruit flavored with like, oh my God, fruit flavored like raspberry or strawberry, or you've got a flavor like vanilla, lemon, coconut. In a portion of yogurt, the ones with the little tinfoil tops, there's the same amount of sugar. All right, 22 grams. So once again, you can eat 5 caramels. I dropped one, so I'm going to pick it up. So you can have 5 caramels, or you eat the yogurt. Somehow intuitively, we like to believe that the yogurt's healthier for us, and really, we're pretty much just eating straight sugar. That's it. That's what's in your yogurt, okay, if it's a flavored yogurt. So like I said, the recommendation for women with sugar is 6 teaspoons, no more than 6 added teaspoons of sugar in a day. That's 24 grams. If I eat these 5 caramels, which, like, believe me, I could eat 5 of these at one time, just like after packing a kid's lunch or something, or we throw these things into kids' lunches thinking that it can't be that bad, And so this is where awareness is king, because sometimes we're thinking that, we're doing all of the right things. You're eating the salad, you're trying to get more protein, you're drinking your water, and yet, the weight's not going. And often it's because of these little, like, it's like a mind, I don't think I can swear, but just like it's a mind, right? Because it's tiny and we don't understand. We don't do the deeper work to understand what the label is actually saying. So, key recommendations for navigating through Halloween. That's what this is about. Number 1, only buy the stuff that you don't like, right? So avoid whatever your go-to yummy treat or sugary candy. Like if you like Sour Patch Kids, don't buy them. If you like O. Henry bars or caramel bars, don't buy them. Don't bring in the stuff you don't want to eat. Bring in your least favorites. Try to avoid bringing it into your house early. So if you already have it in your house, here's what I'd recommend. Put it up somewhere really high. Ask your somebody to hide it in your house, especially if at night you're more likely to snack on it than not, right? Put it somewhere that's out of reach. Wrap it in tinfoil. What's crazy is in the book Slim by Design by Brian Wassink, he said that when we wrap things in tinfoil, think of leftovers. Anytime you've brought a leftover home or leftovers home and they're wrapped in tinfoil, where do they go? It's like a month later, they finally go into the garbage because they've been like pushed to the back of the fridge because no one opened up the tinfoil. So wrap it in tinfoil and just really start to get clear, like, what is it about the candy that you're really craving, right? This is the deeper work. So many people think that it's like willpower and discipline, that's what's going to lead to change. No, it doesn't. Willpower and discipline are like muscles that get fatigued over time. It's lifestyle, it's little changes. It's doing the deeper work to understand, what is it about eating this? What am I getting from it? Because often this is where we are tricking ourselves, right? It's like a Band-Aid on some sort of emotional wound, because really for so many women at night, you need to go to bed. You're exhausted. You've been running on empty for so long. You've been pushing and giving and serving everybody else. You need to take care of you. Go to bed. Or maybe, you need some connection. Maybe as opposed to sitting on opposite sides of the couch with your partner watching Netflix, which is a fake form of connection, just by the way, maybe you need to like go make out, or like go have some fun and actually talk. Or maybe you miss your best friend who moved across the country and you need to hear her voice. And so what I'm finding, and I'm lucky because I am just in the throes of creating the Weight Loss Code Summit masterclass series. So I've been interviewing experts for weeks now on what's happening in the body, what's going on for us physiologically, psychologically, and it's exhilarating to learn this, and it's terrifying at the same time. Because there's so many things that we are doing to ourselves that is wreaking havoc with our hormones, with our health, and ultimately with our happiness. And so if you think that caramels or insert whatever candy it is makes you happy, it's not. It's the feeling that you get from eating it, right? So what is that feeling? What is that feeling? Is it reward? Is it satiation? Food can become anything. And typically when we are eating more food that's got the sugary stuff in it, more than we know is good for us, usually we've got a gap in our life. There's a lack of something. And that's what I want to bring your attention to. This show is called Get Real with Jen because, well, most of us need to kind of wake up and get real about what's really going on for us emotionally, especially if you're in your 40s, okay? By the time you're in your 40s, you've definitely gone through some hard. If you're in your 50s and 60s, our bodies are changing. It's not like living in your body in your 20s and 30s. And often there's just been more stuff that's come into our body that's been on the less than nourishing side than on the nourishing side. And so, ask questions. If you're watching this right now and you're here with me, let me know, say hi. I would love to support you in making sure you navigate through Halloween. It used to be a really tricky time in my life, and I like to help eliminate that from other people's homes so that it doesn't feel so tricky for you. Now, the question often is, well, what do we do with all the crap that our kids bring home? Do you remember the days when you would go trick-or-treating with pillowcases? Pillowcases. So my son's talking about that already, and assuming he's going to drop off and get more than 2 pillowcases, loaded full of candy, and I'm dying on the inside. And so what we do is we have the conversation. We have the conversation around, yeah, that's fun. What a great experience. How much fun you're going to have with your friends. Wow, that's a lot of junk coming home. And we do a buyback. So one of the best things I can tell you is get that candy out of your house as fast as you can. As fast as you can. Talk to your kids about it now so you're not being, mean on the night or whatever word you want to put in there. Some people have the switch witch. Have you heard of that? It's when you get to switch out your candy for something else. We do movie tickets or something else that my kids might be wanting, whatever that is. Movie tickets have always been popular for them. We don't go to movies that often. So the switch witch can come. There's dental offices that often do candy buybacks and you get something else instead. So the point is start talking now in your family about what your plan is. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle that ridiculous amount of sugar? Because I can tell you, so this is 40 grams of sugar. This right here is, I'm going to add it. This is 60. So children, so this is 60 grams of sugar. Children can eat double this in a day, 2 weeks following Halloween. Okay, so children, so we're talking little bodies, right? So little bodies, so they'll eat 2 times this amount. And we put it in their lunch and they snack on it and steal it and gorge on it. And we think it's okay, but it's not. That's a lot of sugar. Can you imagine just huffing this back with a spoon? And you think about what it does to our behavior, it does the same to children. So if you don't know, overconsumption of sugar is 100% related to mood disorders. And that means irritability, frustration, aggression, quick to be angry, quick to snap, quick to be bitchy, right? It contributes to anxiousness, depression, all of these things. And sometimes we just think that that's the way we are, right? Or that we're just stressed out or we're just tired, and we start to make up excuses for why we're acting the way we're behaving. And we do that for our kids too. And really, there's a pretty obvious thing that's going on that we are not giving the due attention that it needs. Possibly because if we give that attention to it, it means we have to make changes around it, and change can feel scary. So to get through Halloween, are there any questions out there? If there are, let me know, because it's these little, I'm going to hold it up again, right? These little tiny things. I've got 5 in my hand. I've got a friend who said she ate 20 in a night. She sat there with a bag open, okay, a bag like this open, and she peeled the wrappers one by one. She was watching TV and she kept peeling the wrappers, and they took a bit of time to chew. So, you know, she went through, like, seriously, she's like, Jen, there's over 20 wrappers on the couch beside me. So here's what I also want you to know. There's nothing in our brain that is designed for a shut-off switch. So even when you are full, even when you are at capacity, this is why people overeat, overconsume, you know, will binge, if you will. It's because if you are eating out of a bag, there's no shut-off switch. It's why the golden rule in our house is to portion. Everything gets portioned onto a bowl or onto a plate. We never eat out of a bag or a box or a jar or anything like that. Susan, hey Megan. Susan, we give out chips. So we give out, we'll go to the store and we give out the bags of chips. That's been an adjustment because my kids like having the candy in the house. So we've had to navigate that, and we found chips. So are there issues with consuming too many chips? 100%. But you know the beautiful thing about a bag of chips? It's pre-portioned. You get one bag, right? So if my kids want to take something, and yes, I'm totally aware, trust me, I'm totally aware of, you know, how chips are cooked, the oils that are used, the processing that goes into them, and I'm picking the things, right? You pick the battles, you pick where you want to get a win. And so for me, I don't want to engage in like the stress and the headache of the Halloween candy battle for weeks after it. I just don't. I don't have that much energy in me, and I don't want my kids consuming that much crap, nor do I want to be tempted by the crap that's in the house. So for any of you watching that thinks, oh, well, it must be, it's warm in my office now, it must be so easy for Jen because like she's got this thing nailed. Yeah, no, that's not true. All right, no, that's not true. I have practices and I have tools and I have strategies that I employ to make sure that I don't do what I used to do 8 years ago, but it doesn't mean that I'm less susceptible. I just have better strategies than some of you who don't know what to do at night, right? Who haven't gotten clear that taking care of yourself by going back to the basics of good rest, good hydration, cutting out the sugar or decreasing it dramatically, those are all basic things that you can do today to start up-leveling your health, your energy, your mood, right? We can do it. We can take control of these things. And so, it's kind of my PSA, right? It's like my public service announcement to be like, look, if you are not proactive, if you are not actively looking for ways to create better health for yourself and your family, then it's very easy to be like the majority of our population. And the majority of the population is overweight and sick right now, right? Children have a 40% increase of being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. That's crazy. Under 12. Like, this is crazy. And why? Like, we don't have to go too far to figure out and put the pieces together. We really don't. So, the thing I would challenge you to do this week, if you're wanting to make some headway, get clear and start reading the labels. All you need to do, you guys, is you go here and it tells you, nutrition facts. Everything has a nutrition label. Read what the portion size is. Go down, find out the energy. The higher the number, the more energy there is. And I could eat a sandwich for what this is. What do you think is going to make me feel more full? Or I could have a huge salad with chicken and a yummy dressing for what this is. What's better for me? But what's easier in the moment to do? It's easier to do this. So then what you're looking for, I'm going back to my label. I'm closing up. I'm not closing up. There we go. So you can see calories, fat, cholesterol, sodium, and then carbohydrate, protein, right? So under carbohydrate, you're going to see the two components, sugar and fiber. Sugars is what you're looking for. And right there, 21 grams. So take a look. If you've got Halloween candy in your house right now, do exactly what I did. Go to the box, look at the candy bars, figure out how much sugar is in there, and then go into your sugar container, get out a teaspoon and measure it out for your kids and be like, why can't you have 20 chocolate bars in a day? Well, because this is how much sugar you would be eating if you did, right? Start to educate them so that they can start to understand and be responsible for their health. I hope this helps. I wanted to share this with you now before Halloween was upon us so that you could have some strategies at play. in the comments, tell me what you're going to do, right? When we know ahead of time and put a plan in ahead of time, we are so much better prepared. So much better prepared. It is way easier than making an emotional decision in the moment. 9 o'clock tonight when I'm like tired, run down, maybe sick kid at home, like this can look really desirable. And the thing is when you're already a little bit sleep deprived, crap like this looks even more desirable. So not only does the junk look more desirable, when you're sleep deprived, you have less ability to make good decisions for yourself. Do you see how that's a double whammy? Right? This is why so many of you might be saying, God, I know better. Why don't I do better? Why don't I do better? Not buying candy. We've got some, there's people that we know that like they say yes to the Halloween costumes with their kids, but then their Halloween night, it is a full-on like family event where they all dress up, they go to a movie. Yes, they have popcorn, but again, you're picking your things, right? So Dawn, thanks for joining. So like this is where I it's not about scaring, but it's really about understanding. Because what I hear all the time is, I'm doing all the right things, Jen. I'm doing all the right things, but nothing's changing for me. But what happens is we forget about the crap like this. We don't think, oh, the one caramel that I eat every 3 hours is actually making a difference. And yeah, it totally is. That goes for things like Werther's candies, all of it. It's pure sugar. So if you don't think that this is making a difference, do you think that this is? Because it's one and the same. It's exactly one and the same. In fact, this will just have more caramel and artificial flavors and chemicals in it. So please post your questions. Please let me know if I can do a Facebook Live for you on a topic that you're interested in, that you want more information on. I love, if I don't know it, the answer, I love diving into the research and finding out what's current and factual for you, bringing you that science-based info. And also stay tuned, because we have another amazing weight loss code expert interview series coming up for you in November. It's off the charts in terms of the information you're going to learn and the impact it's going to have. So I'll be sharing more about that with you as we get closer to the release date. Bye for now, everybody. Have a super Monday, a super pre-Halloween week. I know that there's lots of Halloween parties coming up on the weekend. Stay conscious, stay mindful, and make the decision to not eat this. Okay, bye for now.